Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a blessed Sunday. And in the news this morning for February 25, 2024, EOJ warning employers not to block workers from voting on Election Day. The Electoral Office of Jamaica is cautioning employers in the public and the private sector against limiting the time off allotted to their employees for voting. This comes after the EOJ was informed that a number of employers had told their staff that they will not be allowed time off on Election Day or will only be allowed 2 hours off. According to the Representation of the People Act, employees shall be afforded 3 hours to exercise their franchise. This is in addition to their regular lunch hour. The 3-hour provision does not apply, however, to any employee whose work on polling day commences at or after 10 a.m. or concludes before or at 2 p.m. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown is again advising employers that they must permit their staff to exercise their constitutional right to vote come Monday in the local government election. Electors are encouraged to make the appropriate arrangements with their employers before Election Day. Polling stations will open at 7 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Consumers bemoan ruined meals, sick stomach from spongy inedible grains. Consumers are expressing concern about the poor quality of unlabeled bulk rice being sold in wholesales and supermarkets in Western Jamaica and are calling on regulatory authority to remove the product from the market. Across 3 western parishes, persons have shared their experiences with the news of ruined meals as the packaged product contains a questionable residue, while the rice is hard to cook and is sometimes spongy, is inedible even after careful lengthy preparation, and some persons complain of feeling unwell after eating it. Packaged in clear plastic bags, they say they have no means of knowing who the supplier is in order to seek redress. Ralston White, a resident of Montego Bay in St. James, said that the bulk rice he bought at a wholesale last month had a strange spongy texture when he tried to cook it. I was cooking my Sunday dinner, and while the rice was cooking, at one point I turned it in the pot. When I looked at it, I saw the rice becoming spongy. I saw some white grains like they couldn't cook, so I decided to chew it. But chewing it, the rice was not dissolving. I took it to my spouse and said, "Chew some of this rice." After chewing the rice, she had to spit it out. White shared with the news. The rice has some white grains in it. If you look at it before cooking, you can see it, but when you cook it, that's where the problem is. He continued, "When you eat it, it actually makes your belly puffy. By tasting and chewing, that's how I found out how bad it was. While cooking it, the rice looked spongy, so I was throwing water on it, and it was still not cooking. They have to do something about this. They can't have consumers eating these things." Ingrid Grandison from Westmoreland was forced to stop buying bulk rice and switch to a branded product because she could no longer stomach the bad smelly rice. "It always has this odor, and I always have to pick so many things from it before washing it. And if you're not careful and watch it every 5 minutes, it turns into porridge or dumpling. Even when you finish cooking it, it has a smell," Grandison said of the bulk product. Trelawney resident Conisia Ambersley recalled how her sister also switched to branded packed rice after an unpleasant experience trying to cook the unlabeled bulk greens. "All the supermarkets my sister went to in Falmouth had this rice that wasn't nice when cooked. The grains appeared broken, and it just did not look or taste right when cooked. So she stopped buying it and bought another rice instead," Ambersley explained. The news acquired packages of the unlabeled bulk rice along with packs of branded rice, and the comparison revealed stark differences in the products. Unlike the clean rice in the branded packages, several grains in the unlabeled products were discolored or outright blackened. It needed to be sieved and washed thoroughly to remove the bad kernels. When concerns about the substandard rice on the market were brought to the attention of Julia Duet, the Director of Standards at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, she said that the regulatory authority would immediately launch an investigation into the claims. The supermarkets will be asked to withdraw the rice from sale so the customers will not be exposed to inferior quality products. She explained of the action that can be taken. She also noted that the agency has been working on a policy to ensure that all rice packaging is properly labeled to ensure that consumers have access to strictly quality products. We have just adjusted our standard to say all rice should be labeled, and that has been in the pipeline for some time. That came out of concern that arose a few years ago, so we're at the point now where we're trying to look at how does it impact the society and how to implement the standard now, so it's about how we make it work for everybody, Duet told the news. In 2016, concerns were raised about the quality of the rice on the market when shoppers in Manchester reported unknowingly purchasing so-called plastic rice, which they said was stretchy when cooked. In response to the reports, the Jamaica Customs Agency announced that it would temporarily halt the clearance of rice at all ports of entry, pending a meeting with the relevant regulatory agencies to investigate the claims. Subsequent tests revealed no evidence of substandard rice on the Jamaican market, though it was disclosed that rice being supplied from outside of the Caribbean community would be subjected to further tests before being released into the domestic market. Then 2 years ago, fears about the substandard rice on the market resurfaced after a shipment of rice at the port reportedly failed to meet certain quality checks, including moisture content and the level of broken kernel. This prompted Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Obin Hill, under whose ministry BSJ falls, to announce last year that the government was working to address the issue of imported substandard commodities which have found their way into the Jamaican market. He said the checks revealed that there were 137 importers of rice in Jamaica who were all in breach, and that all the imported rice was supplied by the same place. Suriname and Guyana accounted for 90% of rice imported into Jamaica in 2021. In July 2023, the BSJ released new draft standards for the US $56 million or Jamaican $8.7 billion rice importation sector. The draft report spoke to the need for the popular staple to meet the safety standards for human consumption, packaging, and the testing of samples. This standard establishes requirements for grades of paddy, cargo rice, milled rice, cargo parboiled rice, and milled parboiled rice. It also specifies the general conditions for sampling and the methodologies for assessing the various factors used in the determination of the quality of rice, read a section of the BSJ's Jamaican Standard Specification for Rice report published in June last year. Consumers like White believe that the BSJ's investigative process into reports of substandard commodities on the market must encompass major food manufacturers and the distributors to ensure that once removed, these products do not find their way back on the shelves. They have to find a substantive way to investigate these things. They have to find a way to investigate these big merchants, because they have a stockpile of these products, and if there is anything found, they take it off the shelves and you don't see it for a period of time, and when people start to relax, the items come back. White charged. Key suspect in custody, spouse her children among 5 facing scamming charges. The main suspect being sought by the police in connection with a shipment of illegal guns that was intercepted at a warehouse in Montego Bay, St. James a few weeks ago is now in custody, law enforcement officials confirmed on Saturday. He reportedly surrendered to the police in St. James on Wednesday, accompanied by his attorney. The news has opted not to publish his name because he has not been charged with any crime. His spouse and 2 of her children are among 5 people who were taken into custody by members of the Firearms Trafficking Task Force during a subsequent operation at their home in St. Mary on Wednesday, their attorney confirmed. Raquel Gale, 41, her daughter Kayla DaCosta, 18, and her son Javon McGregor, as well as Pajamar Dixon, 20, and Mikhail McCoy, 23, has since been charged with lottery scam-related offenses, the police confirmed. Donovan Collins, the attorney representing Gail and her children, told the news on Saturday that his clients have not been questioned by police investigators about any firearm-related offenses. All 3 have since been granted bail, he said. I would urge the public to view news they hear on social media with a grain of salt, as they can be very misleading and to some extent false, Collins said. However, law enforcement sources have indicated to the news that the lottery scam charges are to allow the police more time to conduct their arms trafficking investigation. Police officials have declined to comment, citing the ongoing investigation. A total of 14 handguns and 15 magazines were found hidden in a barrel among household items during an operation conducted by the police and the Jamaica Customs Agency at the Freeport warehouse in Montego Bay on February 9. The police said in a statement that through the use of advanced non-intrusive technology, anomalies were detected in a shipment from Miami, Florida in the United States during routine scanning procedures. According to the police, the suspicious consignment, a blue plastic barrel, addressed to a recipient in Book Village, Montego Bay, prompted a thorough examination by the contraband enforcement team. This operation is a significant blow to the transnational movement of illegal weapons from North America into the Caribbean, demonstrating the effectiveness of the combined efforts by law enforcement agencies to combat organized crime and to protect our nation's borders, the police said. A week later, a shipment of 64 mainly handguns, 965 bullets, and 107 magazines were intercepted at the wharf in Kingston. They were also shipped from Miami and were destined for a violent criminal gang based in the Jamaican capital of Kingston, law enforcement sources disclosed. 2 men are in custody after they were collared while attempting to take possession of the illegal arms shipment, sources revealed. Florida, where the city of Miami is located, is one of the top 5 American states from which guns are illegally shipped to Jamaica. The others are Georgia, North Dakota, Indiana, and Texas. In the last 6 years, the police have intercepted nearly 400 guns and more than 5,000 bullets at the country's ports of entry, mainly in Kingston and St. James. Last year, Jamaica joined with Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, the Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago to support a lawsuit filed by Mexico against the gun manufacturers in the United States.